Hi again, everybody, and welcome to another edition of First Person, sponsored as always by the Precision Strip Company in Minster, Ohio. A great place to either start or finish your career. We say it all the time. They're always looking for good people, and they may be looking for you. So give them a call or check them out online. The address is flashing across the bottom of the screen here on First Person, sponsors of Press Pros Magazine and First Person every week, the Precision Strip Company in Minster. Now, for people who live in Auglaize County, unless you live under a rock, and I don't think too many people do, the rocks here aren't that big, you know that the New Bremen Cardinals won their second state title last week in girls volleyball, Division IV. Their second in 3 years, their third consecutive trip to the Final Four. And our guest today, on my left, your right, would be Senior Macy Puthoff, and on my right, head coach Diana Kramer. And I want to talk first of all with you, Macy, because I always think about this at times, trophy presentations. Titles are hard to win. They don't come easy. I don't have to tell you that. But when you got that trophy the other day from Tim Street from the OHSA, the thought went through my mind that 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 15 years from now, when you tell family and friends, your children, whomever, that I went out a state champion when I graduated high school. In fact, I won 2 out of 3 years that I was in high school. Did that cross your mind? Have you thought about that yet? And what's that mean to you?
You know, it means a lot. It's crazy to think that in 10 or 15 years I could have kids. I mean, I feel so young right now.
It happens.
Yes. Yeah, it would be really cool. You know, it's something I can tell my kids, my grandkids. You know, I was a part of the first state championship here.
You were.
I was part of the second state championship here, and I left New Bremen High School a champion. So that's something I'll remember forever and all.
Now, I know that you are into 2 sports here. I know you're very accomplished in track and field. And for people who are out there who don't know, I want you to take this opportunity and tell people what you're going to do next fall after you graduate here. Because I know you're going to school and I don't want to say major in track, but...
Yeah, I am attending Indiana Wesleyan University. I'm going to major in biology, and I'm also playing volleyball and running track there as well.
So you're going to have a full agenda there?
Yes.
You're going to have a full agenda there. Diana, I want to talk with you a little bit about what Saturday meant, because first and foremost, there were a lot of coaches there. A lot of people you'd beat throughout the season. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I know those guys were there, and gals, one out of fraternal support, right, because you guys are pretty close-knit. But secondly, I think there were a lot of people there who, out of respect for the standard that you've created here in a very short amount of time, and I know from talking to a couple of them that they want to be in your shoes. Everybody does as a state championship and as a state champion. And what's that mean to you to get that kind of respect from your colleagues?
I mean, it means a lot. I pride myself in relationships that I develop not only with, you know, my family, but my peers, my players. Relationships are key in life. So knowing that I have their support, you know, the amount of text messages that I've received from my peers, you know, my fellow coaching colleagues, it's just unbelievable. You know, the college coaching world has been very supportive. The high school coaching world's been very supportive. Junior high coaches, baseball coaches, you know, football coaches. It's just a big family, and everybody understands what you're going through. And I'm just so humbled by it, because there's so many great coaches out there that never get an opportunity to win a district championship and a regional championship, and let alone make it to state, and then find a way to win a state championship and win, you know, a total of 3 and have 2 runners-up underneath my belt. It just speaks volumes to the teams that I've coached, the communities I've coached in, and it's just so humbling.
You know, you talk about all the time with me about the passion that you have, and I think most of the volleyball coaches that I know intimately, to the point of being able to sit down and talk like this. Kim Metz comes to mind, John Rogers comes to mind, you certainly. I don't know of anybody who's taught me more about volleyball in a short amount of time, because you don't duck anything. If somebody asks you, why is it done this way? I know other coaches have passion for volleyball, or passion for their particular sport, but it seems to me it's a little bit more or over the top for volleyball. Why is that?
You know, I learned from the best, so all of those people that, you know, wished me well and wish that they were in my situation. You know, I've learned from them. I've learned from the coaches that have coached me, and it's the volleyball has changed so much even since I played. You know, when I was in high school 18 years ago, we played the 15 and you had to serve the score point. I went to college my freshman year, there was a libero. We played actually to 30 my first 2 years, and then my last 2 years they cut it down to 25. The game just constantly changes, and you know, I watch a lot of volleyball at a really high level and I learn from some of the best. So while New Bremen is not at the level of the Olympic team or, you know, the Big Ten, I try to, you know, have the same philosophies of those guys because I strive to be like them with the people that I'm lucky enough to coach.
Now, a couple of years ago, we sat almost in this same, not the same room, but the same day, and we talked about this. And I said at the time, you join elite company when you become a state champion. You said, stop that. It's not, you know, I'm not in elite company. But now you've won twice. And I think of John Cash when he was at Miami East. I think of Kim Metz winning 2. I think of Amy Steininger because she won 3 in a row. I don't know how many total. But now that puts you in a very exclusive class of being a multiple state championship winner. I know you don't mind.
I mean, you know, it all started 10 years ago when I decided to become a head coach. You know, I was the JV coach for a long time, and then, not a long time, a couple years, and learned from one of the best, Lori Sweeterman and Dee Dee Stoner. And then I took over a program at St. Henry that, you know, is just a very storied program, and to win a state championship there as a coach was very humbling. You know, I wasn't unfortunately able to win one as a player, and that was one of my biggest regrets, but it's just unbelievable. And then to come here to a town of like New Bremen where, you know, my family is going to be raised, where we've lived for 10 years, and to find a way to win a state championship and make the people in this town believers, it's just been a remarkable experience, something that I did not expect. You know, I always want to win, but to have this become a reality is very, very remarkable, humbling.
Diana Kramer, the head coach of the Cardinals, our guest, along with Macy Puthoff. Macy, I want to ask you this. I know there's only 3 seniors on your team. And Diana tells me all the time about the importance. In fact, every coach values their seniors so much. I mean, you've been in the program 4 years, you've had your backs against the wall, you've seen hard times, good times. You know how to handle that thing. It's a maturity process. Tell me what it means to you and Taylor Paul and Ashton Heitkamp to be the seniors on this team and a 2-time state championship. We talked about before, about 15 years down the road. But tell me what your role really is as a senior and what they give lip service to all the time. Coach speak about why seniors are so important. You're a senior. Why are you so important?
You know, I think something that seniors do is that they are leaders. You know, the younger girls look up to us. We're experienced, you know, we've been through all those situations before. So I think just being a positive role model and someone that they can look up to is really the most important part.
Tell me the toughest thing you've had to do as a captain, as a senior, as an upperclassman with the kids under you. One of those, give us an example of one of the moments where you said you better shake yourself because it's now or never.
You know, during some of our tournament runs, you know, we faced some good competition, and after like losing the first set to Tiffin Calvert, you know, just telling them, you know, we need to keep playing, like this game is ours, this game isn't over. Just getting them in the right mindset, I would say, is definitely the most challenging.
Did she say it about right?
She did. The first time that I met Macy and actually met everybody here at New Bremen was actually in this very room, and I came in, introduced myself. You know, I'm Coach Kramer, I'm going to be your volleyball coach, and I looked them all in the eye and I promised them, I said, sometime soon we're going to win a state championship. And Macy was part of that conversation, and the fact that they turned that into reality, they started believing. I know that they left that meeting, and after we won 2 years ago, almost all of them came up to me and said, we left that meeting thinking you were the craziest person ever, you know. And it's a mindset thing, like Macy said, you know, after being down 1 set to Tiffin Calvert, 1 set to Monroeville, losing that 3rd set to Fort Laramie, you know, you feel like all that momentum's coming away and it's leaving your team, but it's just the mindset of, you know what, this is, you got to face adversity in life and you got to find a way to battle through, because we want to prove that we can do it.
You always tell me, and you've told me for 3 years, our girls are mentally and physically tough. And I want to give you an opportunity to tell people how you've created that culture here, because as a culture of people, as a country, we've come to a point where we want things to be easier for kids than they were for us when we grew up. We want everybody to feel good about their participation. We want everybody to have a trophy to go home. And you know, you live in a community, go to school in a community here, in a beautiful high school with every opportunity. This is not exactly a coal mining town. There's a lot of opportunity and a lot of good things that you can put your finger on. Advantages for kids. So tell me how you've created kids that are mentally and physically tough enough to win a state championship.
First of all, I didn't create them, or, you know, I might have, I'm lucky enough to have coached them.
How did you create the culture?
But, you know, so I think the most important thing is, A, developing a relationship. These girls know that I care about them, that I love them, you know, all the way down to my second graders, all the way down to the kindergartners, you know, that are walking through the hallways. I'm giving them high fives, fist bumping them. They want to be volleyball players. The next most important thing is you have to be honest. I am very, very honest with them. Sometimes so much to the point that it like hurts their feelings, but they completely respect that and know exactly what they're going to get with me.
Is that true?
Yes. But you know, and the most important thing probably is that relationship, that they feel valued. You have to feel valued, and if you feel valued, you're going to come to practice every day. You're going to do your job, whatever this team takes, and they know that while they have a name on the back of their shirt, they're wearing New Bremen across the front of their shirt, and they want what's best for this town, for this community, because they're representing New Bremen, which is a fantastic community.
You know, I asked you the other day, do you feel like you're leaving the program better than you found it, you know, when you come in? Because everybody, you know, that's a kind of a cliche that people say when they graduate or when they retire. Tell me a little bit about what's coming up with this program from a player's perspective. There's only 3 of you that are leaving, and you're leaving behind Claire Pape and some pretty good players here that are going to pick up the mantle next year and go take the next step.
Yeah, you know, there are a lot of good younger players. They work really hard. They dream big. They have bought into the fact that we want to go to state, we're going to go to state, and that we're going to be successful. So I think their futures are bright, and I have big hopes for them.
What you've done is create the expectation for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's here now. And I've seen the picture about your summer camp, all those little girls with the bleachers pulled out. It looked like the whole township's here playing volleyball.
Yeah, I mean, I tell the girls all the time, little eyes are upon you, so people are always watching you. People want to be like you. The younger programs are doing a really, really good job, but you know, they need to continue the work, continue to stay hungry, because going to state, winning the MAC, that stuff doesn't just happen. I mean, every town in this area has a strong volleyball program. Little girls everywhere want to play volleyball. They want to, you know, be part of, you know, the community that they live in. They want to put on a jersey. They want to play in front of the fans. So just making people believers and dreamers is incredibly important.
Couldn't be happier for you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And thanks for all you've taught me.
Thank you.
And best of luck to you in
Thank
Indiana,
you.
Leslie. And I know you're going to do well. That wraps up this edition of First Person, again sponsored by the Precision Strip Company in Minster. Great place to start or finish your career. Check them out. They are great sponsors, and as I say all the time, to this county and these communities in New Bremen and Minster. Again, that wraps up this edition, and we thank you for your support of what we do each and every day, every week on PressProsMagazine.com. We'll see you next time with another edition of First Person.